What's up, peoples? What is shaking, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Unexplained Cases Live. You've got Rick Garner, Mr. Dedo, Miss Miriam. What's shaking? Excuse me, Miss Medium. I mean, you know, that's their proper. We already established that's your proper.
Miss Miriam sounds like a preschool teacher.
From the South too.
Mm-hmm. Which I actually was an assistant teacher back in like when I was 20-something years old. I mean, not technically a teacher because I didn't go to school for it, but I assisted. I had fun.
Nice.
Teacher assistant,
right? Nice.
With the little kids. Like I like the little kids.
See, this whole time we didn't know that. So see,
I did not know that.
It's always nice to learn something new. Hey, Kathy Ann, hello to you as well.
Yeah, hello.
So thanks.
Two hellos.
Now,
that's hot.
Wait a minute. Let's get a little zoom going on for this. So
it's like Game of Thrones.
So here's the thing. If folks watched last weekend with our 1-year celebration, you'll know exactly what. But if not, and for kicks and giggles, share what's going on here, Em.
This Angela drew one of my guides for me. And when I put it up in the main room, and when Bruce got home from work yesterday, because I just got it yesterday, when Bruce came home from work yesterday, he walks in and he goes, "Is that Jesus or Axl Rose?"
Oh, nice. Okay, a little sweet child of mine.
I thought that was awesome.
You know, because the first one, you know, pretty obvious, but I got to give him extra points there. I don't know if I could have thought about some Axl, but you know, that works. That's nice.
Leave it to Bruce to not be in like, you know, he doesn't stay in the ethereal very long if he goes there at all. He immediately crashes back down to earth.
I was thinking more along the lines of David Coverdale from White Snake or Sebastian Bach from Skid Row.
Oh, look at you.
Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right.
See,
joke's over.
We could see. We could cover the whole.
I got enough vodka. We're just getting started.
Hey,
it's water. It's water.
Hey.
Or maybe it's not. Actually, I don't know.
No, if you've watched the show enough, you know I'm the only one that ever drinks on the show.
Yeah, you're the only one that's like half in the bag by the time we get to 30 minutes into the show.
Half in the bag. You know,
yes.
I don't think I've heard that phrase. That one's a new one for
yeah, that's probably from the 50s or something.
It's funny, actually.
Yeah, you know, see, this is what I always appreciate about Dedo. He'll always reach way back and then bring forward some little morsel there. So
he'll reach way back in the bag.
And I brought the Sasquatch tonight too.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Perfect.
I'm getting squatchy.
What's up, Sydney, Dawn, and Michelle?
Hello.
Thanks for being here tonight. So, you know, this is a thing, because I don't know if everybody can fully appreciate this. So I can't let us go forward without the fact that talk about opposites attracting, though. I mean, like, Bruce is like the perfect counter to you in that sense because of all the stories. I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah, okay, that's something, you know, paranormal or weird happened, whatever. It's like nothing phases the guy. I think Chill is his middle name. Is that right?
I mean, he's yes, he's not.
He's
like
the yin to the yang.
Yeah, he's not like if you met him. He's high energy, funny. He's not like a chill, relaxed dude. But when it comes to my lifestyle, nothing phases him. Yeah, he's just he's chill.
There you
like
go.
I told him this morning, I was like, I said, in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a big change for us coming. And he was like, okay, hang on, I'm on a call. He had his little ear thing in, and I was like, I just said our lives are going to change.
He was like, just 1 minute.
And he was like, okay, hang on, I'm on a call. And I was like, typical, like, I don't know why after 19 years, I still expect or hope for a different response for like a really like, what are you feeling? It's just like, okay.
He's like, meh, roll with the punches.
Let me know when it happens. I'm like,
it's like, are we going to win the lottery? I mean, what's going on here? Come on.
See? I mean, you know, the inquiring minds.
Care, so why should anyone else?
Apparently so.
Tisk, tisk. Let's see. We got Adam. We got Mike. I see Pamela Marie. Michael Chinn. Okay.
Finally.
So Chinn's in the house.
Yeah.
And
10:05.
got to give him some credit for tonight because this was his brain tinkle. So in case folks are like, what is why do? Well, of course, we could have called the show probably anything, but why?
Yes.
Well, yes, boo. But in this case, it is all the potential questions that maybe you have thought of. You forgot that you wanted to know. Ideally, we're looking forward to some people.
Sorry, I was just repeating what you said.
Well, that can happen, right? Right? It's possible. You know, you're like, suddenly it's like this burning question, and then you see like a bright light or something. You're like a cat, meow, and then you totally forget that you had this important, life-changing question. I mean, or maybe that just happens to me.
Bruce? Oh.
He's still on the phone.
We are pretty chill. We are pretty chill.
Lying to me.
Right. Stacy from Skeleton Crew. Hi, guys. Hi, Miriam.
Hey.
Nickel and Raymond. So
that's from California. Cool.
Exactly. So two things would be, folks, if you have a question of the mysterious, unexplained, paranormal kind, I am Mr. Miyagi. Wax on, wax off.
Preferably not dirty. I mean, that would be okay. It's keep it PG at least.
I'm not going to put it on the air if you do that, okay?
But I may chuckle.
Yes, exactly. That's the beauty. The other people will be. Hello, Sydney. Thank you. Squirrel. Yes, thank you. I'm assuming that's referring to my cat thing earlier. See, this is what happens when you look at comments afterwards. So drop those in. We want to see them. But then also, we have a big announcement to share, and that's going to come later in the show. This is what they call in the biz a tease.
I'm sorry. Stacy put something in there, and it came out auto-corrected. Look at it. I'm not going to say it. I was like, wow, that she came strong with that one.
I can't see it.
We can tell you off the air. It's pretty funny, actually.
Stacy.
Oh my God,
Here it is. Fine.
It's like, hey, Rick, could you wait for another 50 minutes?
You know, this is not the Petri dish, okay? I mean, come on. So, see, for
sorry,
folks
I just couldn't. I was like, that's too beautiful.
For folks familiar with Pun TV, one of our exceptional shows there. So, in the background, too, in the green room, Angela is feverishly working on something. So, what's going to be great is she has been given the most levity ever because we're not necessarily going to a specific spot or specific person or whatever. So Lord knows what may happen in that respect. But hey, so let's see what type of questions, you know, like here was one that I think this may have been Mr. Chinn, Mr. Dedo, and I is like one of our first questions, because it's like every time you hear about these moments, especially if it's a female spirit, they always appear to be in like white or blue, and it's
the lady in white.
Why are you in your nightgown? Did you pass away in that or something? Which is
a good point. I didn't think about that.
Which is why the meme is like, listen, whatever you are wearing when you die, that's going to be your ghost clothes, you know. So,
so if you're naked, I mean, I guess you just kind of walk around hanging out, that type of thing, or I guess you'd be see-through, I suppose.
How many ghosts are in the nude though? I mean, you don't.
So you guys gonna let me answer or just
Yes, we're gonna stop and let the expert handle this. So.
The answer is energy combined with the human need or desire to make sense of what they are seeing. And so when a ghost, there is definitely clothing that is portrayed so that the human who has having the experience either relates to it because it's what dad always wore or what mom always wore, and so it allows the human to connect and believe. And a lot of that isn't necessarily something the ghost or spirit is consciously doing. Although some spirits who are loved ones coming back for a purpose, to say, to check in, to add comfort, will have a sense of awareness that there is a familiarity to them, so their loved one recognizes them. Now, this question, which is more general, about the white or blue dress, has to do with the energy and auric field of the spirit, combined with, again, the human need or desire to put clothing on something to believe what they are seeing. If they don't have the capacity to just experience energy, because when you just experience energy, you can't necessarily articulate it. So, like I've said before, for me with my guides, I don't put names to them. I don't put images to them. I just experience them, because when you put a name to it or a visual to it, you now put a story to it that may or may not be true. That story may be something that someone's written about or that someone's told you. Doesn't mean that it's true. Gotcha. And so a lot of people will put clothes on spirits so that their brain can comprehend what's happening. But really, the clothing is simply their auric field, the energy that being carries.
Pretty deep, man. All right.
Interesting. Well, so Kate has made sure she doesn't want any nude ghosts in her house. Of course, Stacy,
Stacy's on fire tonight.
She's going to be, and so thanks, Stacy. This is twice. See, you are definitely rocking the comments tonight.
Stacy's funny.
All right, so let's try for another one. So why do UFOs have headlights or red, green, or blue lights? Doesn't that make them terrestrial if they have
Excellent
light?
point. I didn't think about that.
Well, I don't understand that last part.
Well, so extraterrestrial would mean, obviously, that's alien. That's not of this planet.
Okay.
But terrestrial, because if you think about
like an airplane,
aircrafts have to have certain colored lights, which identify portions of the plane or things like that. You'll see, there's blinking and all that going on. Well, some UFOs, by definition, an unidentified flying object doesn't have to be alien. It could be of this world, and it's got the blinking lights. People just don't know what it is.
Why can't UFOs have blinking lights?
Well, here's the question.
Why
would they? If you're traveling from another planet, it would be the idea of why would you have to have blinky lights on? Basically, is that for air traffic? Air traffic control for them.
Why has everyone decided they know how UFOs work? Maybe those lights are for other extraterrestrials. Why can't I don't understand why?
Close encounters, they're communicating.
Why can't they have their own? Why are lights specific to human? That doesn't make sense.
Well, so ultimately, it's I guess there's the question would be, why do these crafts have any kind of lights?
Why can't they?
Why can't they? You could take it either way. Yeah.
You think that maybe they'd have something more technologically savvy as opposed to a 737, a Southwest Airlines flight with the blinking lights? Maybe something more.
I'll tell you why. Because humans are morons, and anything that is more tech savvy, humans cannot comprehend. Yeah, aliens don't need lights, but if they don't use lights, humans won't acknowledge the existence. So yes, they have, technology that is bigger and better and stronger, but if they're moving towards planet Earth and they don't want to get shot at or hit by another airplane, they have to use lights so the morons don't hit them.
That could be it.
Well, there you go.
Darren gave kind of a Bruce answer where I was just calling, just like Darren was
sure. Hold on a second. You got a phone call here real quick.
need to take this.
Exactly.
Groundbreaking.
It's like I'll be like, let's see. Oh, hey, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna send this text out.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's a silly rule that aliens aren't allowed to use lights because they are supposed to be, you know, how else
Stealth
are they
technology.
gonna communicate with us? You know,
Right. You know, well, that's
so they can be
that's
seen.
because people would like to take the mind of like saying, oh, well, if it has lights,
It's
then
an airplane.
terrestrial. It's an airplane. There's nothing UFO about it.
stop making up bullshit, people.
See,
And we have no viewers. Okay,
And we
good
broke
night.
the bear tonight.
see, actually, no, we're gaining them the more this goes on. So this is fantastic. All right, so we'll flip back to our favorite one here. So okay, now this one could get a little deep too. Why do ghosts reveal themselves periodically, randomly, or just only to certain people? I mean, why hasn't everybody seen?
Yeah, we've only spent the last 25 years trying to see one, and haven't had the
Well,
luxury of doing that yet.
Well, we're morons, so let's keep that in mind.
Well, we saw a dead cat. I mean, that was kind of cool. I mean, that was
Miriam
wild.
established, actually, if I go back to Instagram when I first started talking to her, she said, you know what, y'all are idiots, but I'll still work with you. No, she didn't. So.
She took pity on us.
Okay, so this is a good question because a couple reasons why. Just because I'll use Darren as an example.
Oh, goody.
The amount of times I have lectured you, Darren, live on
For Christ's
how
sake.
to enhance your intuition so you can see things.
I am trying.
No, you're not. You do not meditate
I'm like,
daily.
show yourself now.
So, because we don't do anything to work that muscle, you will see them when they want to be seen. Now, for people who aren't open to it, they're not going to see them. For people who aren't open but get this, oh my God, I was never open to ghosts, and all of a sudden I just saw one.
Exactly.
It's because that is supposed to move their I just lost the word, probably because I was yelling at Darren. It's supposed to move their evolvement or their ability to evolve further along. Because for Darren, because it's pick on Darren night,
Apparently so.
Darren already believes he just isn't doing anything to improve that intuitiveness or belief. Oh, Stacy's in the audience. I'll yell at Stacy too. Same thing. So for you guys, you're waiting, like you want, it's kind of like someone who says, why can't I lose weight? Well, are you exercising and eating properly? No. Well, that's why you're not losing weight. You're not doing anything to lose weight. It's the same thing. Like if you're wanting to see ghosts, but you don't do anything to initiate that, then you will stay where you're at. It's not the ghost that periodically shows itself. It's humans that open themselves up or don't open themselves, but karmically are in a place in their lives to push their evolution further. Didn't realize this was going to be a
philosophical conversation. Wow.
Yes, pick on Darren. I already picked on.
Guys, Stacy's really on fire tonight. Oh my gosh. A lot of love in this room tonight.
Stacy's drinking and eating cheese right now.
So, all right. So here's going to be the question, though. Well, what's going to be the question is if she gets to pick on me before the night's over with. So,
I'm sure it's early.
Yeah,
there has to be equal opportunity here.
Rick
So,
is the reason why I didn't pick on you yet, Rick, is just because you see things and you're more open and
But there'll be something that you can pick on me about.
I'll find something. Don't worry.
I mean, we got 40 minutes left.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of time.
There's plenty of time for that. So, all right. So this is kind of like a duh question, in my opinion. Why do UFOs rarely seem to land on Earth?
Did you all just hear me call you idiots? We're kidding.
I thought I heard something.
Morons? Why would you want to? Why would anyone want to land on this planet? Anyway, sorry. Okay,
see?
Let's answer the question.
To dominate humans? I don't know, to take over?
UFOs rarely seem to land on Earth. So there are multiple different alien families, just like there are different types of human beings. They're all human, but we live in different parts of the world. There are different parts of alien families, but they also live in different galaxies and all these things. Now, the reason why they don't land on Earth depends on the family. The more enlightened families do not want to be a part of planet Earth due to the toxic energy and pollution that humans have created and give off. And they do not want to basically dirty themselves, okay? And shame on us. And then there's other alien groups that are lower vibration that have no problem jumping into the toxicity and the pollution that energetically we have created as well as on the planet. And then there are obviously UFOs that get accidentally land or crash, which is not done on purpose. But you will have lower vibrational entities purposely land on Earth. That'll be coming soon, but it's not necessarily a group that they're lower vibration. You know, it's just like, why add more lower vibration to a planet that's already a low vibration? You know, but you won't have the higher vibrations join because we're morons and we have polluted the planet and made ourselves sick, and they don't want to be a part of that.
What about, you think maybe they've done it and the government just is not, telling us about it? Maybe they have been meeting secretly and we just don't know.
Lower vibrational aliens have landed on planet Earth. Yeah, lower vibrations have done it. And the government, listen, I was talking about this because I watched, what's it called? I watched
60 Minutes. That interesting a couple weeks ago.
Well, she watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I watched that for the first time. And when I was talking to my mom about it, she said, so why do you think the government doesn't share it? And I said, honestly, because humans couldn't handle it.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Panic.
So why? Why would you do that? And if you want to engage with an alien, you can. Call me for the low price of $29.99. I'll connect you with an alien.
And they can come by with their blinking red and green lights.
See, what you don't understand is behind the backdrop there. Basically, she has a whole switchboard. There's this old-timey switchboard where you can, patch through.
It's gonna be like lasers shooting out of that thing.
Got all that then, basically.
I missed the comments you were posting.
Oh, well, so I can go back. I thought those were quite hilarious. Let's see. So Mike here was making the comment, it's mostly not necessary to land.
Okay, there you go.
I guess that's what he's thinking. But then Sandy also was thinking that UFOs lock their doors when they fly by. Just saying. Yes. Right?
Deadbolt.
Or going back to Mike here, government can't handle it. Well, that's when we're talking about that. Although I love Sean. Romulans land regularly, but they have cloaking devices. Thank you, there, Star Trek reference, because I know that Miriam's going like, what? So
resistance is futile.
Let's get the Borg involved here, so it's perfectly fine. So here would be the Borg, yeah. So now, speaking of, borderline questions, but also because people are morons, why do aliens probe people?
Yeah, right? I think that's a legitimate question. It's like, hey, if you want to introduce yourself to me, that's great, but I don't really want a rectal exam.
Could we have dinner first? And then
buy me a drink, get to know me.
Hold
on a second, let me get the glove.
Doctors give rectal exams all the time.
And they have to pay for it too. Good God.
Right? So.
All right. I knew this question would come up.
You knew it would.
Aliens are simply, again, it depends on which vibration they come from. Lower vibration, higher vibration groups aren't intrusive. Lower vibrational groups do it not necessarily with the intent to harm, but out of curiosity. The whole probing thing has blown up into something more silly than it actually is, because when it does actually happen, it's very scary and can be very painful for people. And it's basically they're trying to figure out about us. That's literally all it is. And again, some do have intent to harm and some don't. It's,
sort of like
listen,
abductees that describe having, like some type of an exam or, something that happens to them. It's pretty terrifying.
yeah. And also think about it. How many, like when you were in school, weren't you dissecting frogs?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't very nice, and medical doctors still test on animals. How is that any different than when aliens come down and want to figure out what's going on in human life? It's not.
Right?
Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. Just Stacy is just killing me. I mean, I'm dying over here. I don't know. I don't even.
Come on.
I don't.
I should be so lucky to get
Is that like one of your things on like when you do like Match.com? I'm open to being probed.
I mean, I just appreciate Kira here better than watching TV right now, laying down the couch eating popcorn, watching us. So I'm all good. Kira, nothing but love. Appreciate you
so much.
So yeah, and Angela. So I saw that you were like repositioning. Like, do you have something to share? Oh, okay.
Is it a painting of a probing?
Is it probing?
Let's bring in Ange here. So what do we got going on here, Angela? What are we doing?
The little boy at the where they had the train station, the one that you've been investigating in Maryland at the
cool
Lex Streams.
Okay, nice. All right, very interesting.
How old do you think, Angela?
Very young child. I don't know if I made him young enough, but probably he showed up. He just held up a few fingers, so he's under 10. He's probably 5 or 4 or 5.
I see that.
His like strains.
Nice.
His dad is waiting to come get him, so it's dad's in uniform. So he passed away from tuberculosis. The boy did, and he didn't have any toys. And I mean, parents couldn't afford any.
That's what I was wondering.
Father went off, and he passed away in war. But the boy died of TB. He's still hanging out.
In like World War I.
It feels like World War I. It does,
okay.
But because he did have TB, and he loves trains, and he's not very communicative, but he just wants things. And his father wanted to get him a toy train, couldn't afford it.
That's sad.
So that's the significance of bringing the train when you were asking him, if he kept going choo choo to me, choo choo, he really wanted trains. He loved trains. So,
well, for everyone's perspective, this is another case that we're working on right now. It's actually Sykesville is a town in Maryland. So we're bringing together pieces and parts, but I'd say that's just another little pieces and part of that. So, wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, and also on why women appear in white a lot. White was a very inexpensive fabric, the most inexpensive fabric you could get. A lot of times. And black was one of the most expensive. So anything with color is going to be more expensive. White was the least expensive. Black, the mourning clothing, definitely was very, very expensive, and it even had arsenic in it, and women were wearing that for months at a time. So that was getting in their skin and their system.
Good Lord.
From both men and women, that would be, because men had black mourning clothing as well.
Of course.
But women wore it longer because they were expected to be in mourning longer for that duration for months. So whenever the time of mourning ended, so they would have arsenic dyed clothing.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let me send you back in case you have some additional fun. So we'll knock out a few more questions. So thank you for that as always, Angela.
Sure.
All right. We'll see what's up next on the painting wheel. But in the meantime, have I missed any comments during that? I was going to see if anyone has thrown another question before we get back to our list. People are burning up the chat, so I'm hoping I wasn't missing over something. All right, time for cryptids then. While I'll look over it's time for Mr. Sasquatch. All right. So we have why do cryptids such as Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster mostly avoid people? That could be possibly, the
human moron situation. Let's see. So, wild animals, if we were to compare them to wild animals for the sake of the conversation, wild animals don't navigate towards humans. And so, assuming Bigfoots and Loch Ness Monster, cryptids, you guys call them, are real, assuming they are, that they wouldn't navigate near humans just like a wild animal chooses to not move towards a human. There is nothing that they have in common with that human. There isn't anything familiar, and humans give off an energy of fear. So humans are, and especially when you're talking about out in like remote areas, you have two types of human, one that's a hunter and one that's a just wandering through, who will
an observer.
And that observer will, their at first interaction will give off fear. And so if these cryptids ate humans, let's say, then they would move towards them, but they don't. So they feel the fear from the human, which causes them to retract. Or like a deer, they now have this sense of knowing a hunter versus not a hunter. And so they will move away from the hunter. So animals that are this like, well, like again, compared to like a wild animal, you have to understand the human's role that's played. You don't have humans wandering the woods. And now I know that people will go in groups looking for Bigfoot and they're not scared and they're open, but you're scaring the animals. You know what I'm saying? Like if you understood how to approach a wild animal, you would better understand how to approach one of these if they gave you that option.
Now, can you tell us if Bigfoot is real?
Well, remember,
she can't talk about that.
Yeah, didn't I say that wasn't to be discussed? And yeah. And
she was given a gag order. So,
okay,
and the Loch Ness Monster, if I remember correctly, it's not what people have blown it up to be, but it's there is an energy in there.
A creature.
Is it exactly the Loch Ness? We don't know, but there's an unusual type energy in there. Right.
And even Jordan, who basically acknowledged the fact that, there's some realness there. So I think he's been sitting back enjoying this because he was commenting earlier, but he's off my screen right now. So he was confirming that there was, some type of realness because, of course, people have wondered. I mean, is old Nessie for reals? So there we go. Now here, let's spice things up a little bit. I'm going to reach into the back of the cabinet and pull out something a little bit interesting. Why do some people encounter black-eyed children?
Ooh, are those like demons?
Dun, dun, dun.
Is that like Children of the Corn type? I mean,
well,
Damien.
Yeah,
well, no,
like a certain type of child.
This is a very particular entity. This was a question that came over Insta. I think actually Sean was the one who dropped this in. He actually referred to them as, BECs there. Miranda says, this is my biggest fear. Yes.
I don't blame her.
Because it's this random idea of these are always children. They always can basically approach people. Usually there is a degree of startle, there's a degree of approaching, and there are completely black eyes. And it's never adults, always children.
Okay. And it's someone just said it was their biggest fear. Miranda or something?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, let me see. Oliver's here in case anyone needs help.
Thank you, Ollie.
Sit down, baby, because you're going to move this. I need to talk to the black-eyed children. This is different from the black-eyed peas.
Gotta get that. Gotta get that. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta get that. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Jordan wanted sound effects. We'll give him the black eyed peas.
Hey, exactly.
Black-eyed children. So these are children that are that died horrifically and are lost seeking guidance.
Okay.
And the black eyes was their fear prior to their death. And that fear is still like emanating in their spirit and is also trapped them in that location. And the sad part is these children are seeking help. When we have not connected to spirit while we're in body, we don't have a reference point when we die. And for young children, some of them, if they die at a very young age, that connection to spirit hasn't been broken. And so they go easily and willingly and understand it. But at a certain age, typically this age, like that 7, that 8-year-old, where they're starting to be told, no, that's not real. You're not seeing that what you're feeling isn't real. That's not, no one's standing in the corner. They're just start to dismiss their connection to spirit. So if they die tragically or horrifically, they're lost and they don't have anyone yet familiar that is passed on that can help guide them over. And so they're seeking assistance. And so humans, again, without the name calling, if we can connect to our higher selves and our inner teacher, we can sense that someone is scared and not there to hurt. They're simply scared and seeking guidance. So for Melinda, who was scared of them, if that ever happens to you, realize that they aren't there to hurt you. They're simply there asking for someone to help them.
So they're not bad. They're not dangerous. They're just trying to deal with some pretty serious stuff.
Yeah. So that's a good question, because energies and entities that are bad won't just randomly show up. They will show up in locations or around people that gravitate towards it or are looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, for most people that aren't connected to their higher consciousness, anything that doesn't look human or is out of body moves them to fear first, then to, oh, what am I experiencing? So, for example, for someone like me that's comfortable with all of this, when you walk into a location that you know has energy in it, I'm not seeking out if this energy is good, bad, or otherwise. I have to articulate it as good or bad for everyone else's sake who's listening. But I understand that energy is energy. Whether it's good or bad is not relevant. It just is energy. And the question is, I'm experiencing this energy. What is the exchange that should happen or needs to happen? And because I am neutral to it and not scared of it, no matter how bad it pretends to be, there isn't a need for it to be a big deal because I'm not there to do anything with it. But I can then sense, because you remain neutral, you can then sense out beings that might look scary, but really they're not scary. They are scared themselves. So, and for human beings, when you come in contact with a spiritual presence, you're being asked to help or experience something and then learn from it. Not just simply label it as, oh, I've read that's dark, or I've read that it's this, or I've read that it's that. Stop reading and experience. And the more experiences you have, the more you will realize just because something is dark doesn't mean that it's out to get you or hurt you.
Okay.
Very wise words,
Good
because Carrie was alluding to, I think, what most people have heard, the stories that if they ask for help and if you do, then they hurt you.
It's like a trick.
Yeah, that's a very common thread with the BECs. So
I encourage people to find a daily meditation practice so you can experience the spiritual realm for yourself from an enlightened place, because there's a lot of stories out there that are very hurtful to beings that are stuck. And not all beings are stuck, and not all beings need our help to unstick them. But when we read stories that others have written that you had never experienced, you make assumptions that aren't necessarily true. And just like in the real world, you can meet a human being and that human being can hurt you physically. So if you're using your intuition, you will know how to manage the situation, and you will know if that child is needing help or maybe really isn't. And it could be, I hate to burst everyone's bubble, but there's not that many spirits out there that really spend as much time as you all think messing with people. Like, there just aren't that many. And if you're looking for it, you'll find it. Just like anything in life. If you're looking for it, you'll find it. But the bulk of spirits aren't there to mess with us and to hurt us. They're having their own spiritual experience and are just seeking guidance, just like we are.
I've always wondered, well, it's kind of off topic here, but when a person dies, I mean, do we have dead people around us all the time? I mean, obviously we can't see them, but I mean, are they in a different dimension? They can see us. Sometimes we can see them.
Ask that question again. When someone dies?
Well, just think about it. So many people die every day, every minute, every second. Isn't there a good chance that there could be a relative around me or an old friend? I guess that's the one question I've always had, that maybe, if I open myself up, maybe I would actually experience that and see somebody.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's very common for loved ones to be around you, and it's super common for a loved one to pass over, not come back in a body, but stay an enlightened being and guide. That's super common, happens all the time. And then, of course, there are beings that don't stay as guides, but choose to come back in bodies. So, that, of course, you are surrounded by spiritual beings all the time.
Which makes for a very perfect segue into this question.
Yeah.
Why do some cross over?
Because
why do some not?
We can hold them here. They can choose to stay close to Earth to assist. And then those that die traumatically or unexpectedly can stay. Also, when you don't have, again, this is so much what I said earlier, if you don't have a understanding of light, when you die, you won't understand what's happening to you. And so when you have an understanding of spirituality, I'm not talking religion specifically, I'm talking about intuition, because when we have intuition, we experience the other side and we experience our spiritual side. So when death comes, we have already experienced that, and there's an awareness and an understanding, and then this availability to seeing loved ones that have also passed over to say, hey, can you help me? I'm going through a transition right now. So that's why the importance of your intuition and understanding what that means and looks like for you, that's where that plays a part. Because otherwise, when you transition, it's just like any transition in life. If you don't have guidance or awareness of what's going on and what's happening, you don't get stuck. You just kind of are like, hey, so what's going on here? What just happened?
Can people go back and forth? Can you go to the lights and then come back and then go back to the light again? Or so once you cross over, is that, hey, that's it, you're done, you can't come back?
So when you cross over, a version of crossing over means you understand your transition and you understand what's taking place. You can come back and work very closely with Earth. Like I have a friend whose husband crossed over, but chose to come back and work very closely to Earth with her. And so it's just dimensions. To say they go into the light, there's this sense of, oh, they're gone. And not necessarily. When we transition, we stay over there, or sometimes we come back and we work closely with humans that are embodied. So the crossing over and not crossing over, it is very specific to each individual. And a lot of times when they're stuck, they're waiting for someone that they resonate with to move them over, or they're just simply waiting for their own spiritual evolution and karma to say, it's time, let's go. So crossing over is very specific to each person. And, it's dimensional. It's not like you go to the tunnel and you don't ever go back. I'm not saying there is a tunnel or there isn't a tunnel. I'm just saying it's dimensional.
Right. I don't know. Did you see Sean's? Well, I guess it'd just be a statement there. Did you see that, Maryam?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like, think of it as walking over a bridge. You can walk back over that bridge. Or not.
Unless you're talking about the Chesapeake Bridge up here, that's like 14 miles long and stuff like that. You might not want to walk
or
over
like Pontchartrain,
let alone walk back. Yeah, that's a long bridge. Speaking of bridges, man, I love these segues. These are great.
That was exciting
well
stuff.
done, sir. Well done.
I mean, hey, so every state seems to have a crybaby bridge.
What's that?
So
somebody, yeah, go ahead. You know.
No. After you.
No, it just seems like there's some horrible thing that a mother ended up killing a child, throwing it down below in the river or the highway or the train tracks, and on a night at 1 o'clock in the morning, somebody goes up to the old bridge, and if they're really quiet, they can hear the cry of a child that was murdered by a mother.
Next.
That good? They're all BS.
I mean, read what you want, believe what you want. I don't know. I mean, if babies are thrown off bridges and most babies though are connected to spirit still. They don't stay stuck. They move on. They're like, good riddance. That woman was a bitch anyway, So I mean, I don't know. I think it's silly. I think it's silly, but that's my thought.
There you go.
Well, it's silliness, and at this particular point, there was another question, but frankly, we already addressed it. So there's no point in sharing that. And,
okay, wait, to clarify me saying it's silly, what I mean to say is, like, go out and experience things for yourself. Is there the sound of a baby crying? Maybe not. Like, yes, there is also, if you want to hear it bad enough, you'll hear it. Is it actually a baby crying? Probably not. and they're also, there are spirits that will just kind of hang out and F with people if they're bored, and make crying baby noises, because why not? I just don't believe everything you read.
It makes for a good story.
Well, and that's the thing that's so hilarious is and I mean, that's like, as Sean put it, urban legend gone viral is a perfect way to do it, because at that point there are bridges in, hundreds, maybe thousands in a state. So it's like, hey, okay, let's attach a little story to that one and that one and that one. And that's the thing, is people like, goofy stories, but it doesn't mean that there's anything real to it. Now, this does beg the question that we've touched on before, is let's say there really isn't an event, but then let's say you have a bunch of people who start coming and they're like, they're checking this out, or they're doing the ritual or whatever. And that happens week after week, month after month. Well, then all of a sudden, it seems to me, as was alluded to, that's where you can actually have some of the bored, lower level, lower vibrations be like, you know what? Hey, let's hang out here. Basically, let's just, let's screw some people. Let's have a little fun.
That's a good point. And I also want to say this, like, if you go and you hear a baby crying, why do you not have the desire to help that baby? Why would you just go and listen to it cry and then tell your friends you heard a baby cry? Like, go help the fucking baby. Like, think about that. And why are people not helping the baby if there's a baby there crying? That's because, well, it's another show for another time. But point being, if you want to go explore an urban legend and you hear a baby crying, help the effing baby.
Boom. Just there like there were several T-shirts that came out of that one very clearly.
Help the effing baby. Hashtag Crybaby Bridge.
All right, exactly. So, Ange, I see you still doing a little portraiting there. So,
is it the effing baby?
I don't know.
Actually, I'm just about done. I just have one more little thing to do, but
this
is ready to see.
Okay, well then I timed that very well. Then in that case, all you had to do was there was
one of your characters, Marianne, who comes in and helps you to talk about interdimensional beings.
Ooh.
Wait, that's mine?
Yeah.
Hold up, let's go full screen on that, baby.
Whoa!
Love the eyes.
Wow. This isn't human and doesn't feel male or female energy. I can't tell a gender. Seems to be or a mixture of both. But this being is helping you communicate with like interdimensionals, explain interdimensionals, and kind of is this person's specialty.
Whoa, she's awesome.
I mean,
very cool.
It's not human, some sort of interdimensional entity that is helping you, a spirit of one that's helping you. So
that's my girl.
Non-human life.
You're actually creating a whole players card set here for M here, basically. I mean, you're gonna have to collect the whole set.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's a cool picture.
Wow.
Very neat.
All right,
well,
now I gotta buy another one from
paying
her rent.
It's the companion piece.
Yeah, the companion piece. Well, and also this does kind of tie in to probably a very burning question, since if some people were wondering, well, there's supposed to be a big announcement. Well, then we have the question, why do all good things come to an end? There's that, basically. So
I get comfortable.
Are you comfortable now? Well, so folks, we're talking about a big announcement, and you might be gleaning something from that particular why do question after a year of frolicking on the live streams and being able to celebrate that last weekend.
Indeed.
We're actually going to shut down this weekly show. The band isn't breaking up. We're not going separate ways or any goofy stuff like that. we've got other projects behind the scenes that we're working on. And who's to say that there won't be other live streams in the future? Don't know. That's the beauty of all this. But the fact is that it just seemed like a good time to step back into the episodic work that we've been doing before the pandemic came along, which was also when I mentioned the fact that I had to scroll back on the Insta message, because that's originally how we met M, to be able to be like, that first question was like, hey, I've got these pictures basically, and I wondered if I actually shared them with you. Would you be able to offer some feedback? And she was just like, well, sure, as long as we're not talking about darker stuff, because I really don't do that kind of thing. And I was just like, that was the beginning of working together. So the shows have been fantastic, and we've enjoyed them immensely. But tonight is the last one.
Okay, other cool things we're going to be working on. Yeah, that's about it. Well, like you mentioned, we're going to go out and do some investigating and some other things like that, and a lot of social media. So, it's not forever. We're not, breaking up the band. Just reinventing things. How's that?
There you go.
I was just texting these guys while we were doing it. Like these are fun. Doing these, if we can do these once a month or twice a month, these questions or pictures, like the variety shows are fun.
They are indeed. They are indeed. And it's also been fun having Angela along, but that's also where in chatting with her, it's like to say, we created this partnership together. Actually, all the credit, I think, really has to go in the direction of M there. I gotta give credit where credit's due, basically, because one thing that's been fabulous about this whole partnership and friendship circle wheel here, basically, has been that Miriam has definitely challenged Darren and I to grow and grow beyond in multiple ways. And so the show itself going live, got to give her props for that. It's development, it's growth, different things that we've done. Finding Angela, who popped up in the comments one day and be like, it'd be great to actually have some visuals to this stuff. So I think everybody was brought together in a tapestry at the right time. So, as with that, it doesn't mean necessarily it's toodles or whatever. It's kind of a new chapter. So thank you.
Sure.
Thank you there, Miss Medium.
You're welcome. Thank you, Angela.
Absolutely. You can always go to my Facebook page, and I'll be, like, comment, and follow, and I'll put in the comments if you want me to do a remote viewing for you or do some artwork for you, see what's there. Just put a comment in. I'll follow up with an instant message for this private message with information and details, and I'll do a live Facebook feed, and you're going to see it unfold live for you if you like.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go back, and I'll be sure and drop some links in for people into the comments to make sure they can find it. But the most important thing to definitely do as we're winding down on time would be sure and just like Angela mentioned, check out her Facebook page to stay in contact. Be sure to follow Unexplained Cases, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Same
MySpace.
thing for
Flickr.
That's where all the hot stuff is on MySpace.
Vine.
Definitely check out everything that M has going on.
Absolutely.
YouTube, Facebook, Insta, TikTok as well.
No YouTube, no Facebook, just Instagram and TikTok.
Well, I mean, you're there, but okay, fine.
I don't do Facebook anymore, but in YouTube, yeah, just Instagram and TikTok.
Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
There's the focus then for sure, basically. But yeah, guys, we love you. We appreciate the support. You all have been fabulous. Definitely stay in touch. Keep up with investigations because the journey continues into the unexplained. Nice. There's another T-shirt right there. All right, folks. Love you all. Have a good one. Good night.